Welcome, everyone, to episode 2 of On the Trail. I'm your host, Travis Ponton, and it's a beautiful morning here in Philadelphia. We are at the airport because we're on the trail this weekend. That's right, we're going to Pittsburgh. WPA Bruins tip-off, one of the biggest, best tip-off events for club season in the country. Always a ton of talented teams. I expect to see Team Takeover this weekend, West Virginia Thunder, Fairfax Stars, WPA Bruins, Always 100. The list goes on and on. Slam. So we can't wait to see these teams, see these young players in action. It's going to be a great kickoff weekend. But yeah, we're back at it. We're on the trail. Let's get after it. All right, so I'm here with John Tate, director of WPA Bruins, and he's the tournament director here of the WPA Bruins tip-off. Tate, tell us a little bit about the history of the event and how it's gotten to this point.
We're year 11. We started at a high school about 15, 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, Duquesne High School, 11 years ago with 8 teams. And we laugh about it all the time because I did the schedule in the back of a napkin. And just kind of grew the thing, man, little by little. And what we would do is, we like playing. So we would go to other people's tournaments and say, hey, man, we don't mind coming to you in Texas or in Georgia or in D.C. or in upstate New York or in Indy or in Michigan. But, why don't you guys, come to us as well? And that's how it really got to where, we were getting more nasty ranked programs. And when you get your FBCs and your West Virginia Thunders and your takeovers and things along those lines, that attract, your Team Durants, that attracts, the other high profile clubs because they want to play against each other. And, we got in 2018, we had about 250, 260 teams. We were spread out in 29 different locations. And it just wasn't feasible. And we got a call one day from a lady at Sports Pittsburgh, and she says, hey, I heard you had a big tournament a couple of weeks ago. I said, yeah, we've been running for a couple of years. She said, well, how would you feel about doing something like that in the convention center? I said, I don't know. I never thought about having a convention center. So walked through them with that process. People that visit Pittsburgh, the Sports and Exhibition Authority, have been really supportive. It's our 5th year here in the convention center, and it's much easier from a logistics standpoint. I know the coaches and the parents, and the players love it as well because everybody's here on site. But we just try to put a good product on, man. I got a great support staff who we've learned how to run an event like this together. And we just want to put on a good product, have a good experience for the players.
Yeah, back of a napkin. That's one of those cool basketball stories you just don't hear until you get out there and talk. I've been here for all 5 of the years here in the convention center, and it's been great. You guys get great teams. It's a great tune-up going into the April eval.
Right.
I think teams want to take advantage of that. And then as a Division III coach, I would be here looking for kids.
Right.
And this is a great place for D2 and D3 coaches to
right.
come.
And we average about 70 or 80 a year. D2, I think we're a little low this year. I think we got 71, 72 because it's Easter and some people are just taking off. But we use it as that. I mean, that's how we, promote the event. We're gonna have D2, we're gonna have D3. We got 4 McDonald's All-American people here. We got Basketball Bob here. We got all the national media services and things along those lines. So that's here. We've got, the college coaches here. And then, we've got the ability, we're going to pool you in like-minded and like-skilled brackets so you can get yourself ready for that live period next week. So that's how we really promote the event.
Now, switch hats to club director now. Okay. It's 2025. The world is where it is.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the hardest part about being a club director right now? Working with your kids that are already in college, working with your kids that are trying to go to college. What are the trends you're seeing? Talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot different than it was 5-7 years ago. There is no more off period for club directors. It used to be after the July live period, I could take 6-8 weeks off and not think about basketball. Those days are over. And then, you used to have a little dead period right in the high school season, but now where the Final Four falls in the portal, that's as busy a time as ever. We had kids in the portal, coaches getting new jobs and things along those lines. So it's hectic, man. I think we're learning how to navigate the new normal. I feel really bad for the high school kid, for the high school senior, the 26s, the 27s, the 28s even. The recruiting process isn't what it used to be. The very, very elite high school players are always going to be fine. But those, the kids who are mid-majors and low Division One kids who used to still have 5, 8 offers from that sphere of schools, they're not getting those anymore. Those are going to portal kids. I mean, people would be amazed at how many college coaches I talk to say, we're done recruiting high school kids. We might take one, but if they have 3 or 4 scholarships available, they're going to take one, and they're going to get the rest of portal kids because they want to win, and they feel like they're going to win with a 24-year-old versus an 18-year-old, and that's really it in a nutshell.
Yep, that's where this says. Well, Tate, thanks for having us this weekend, and thanks for sitting down. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys coming, man, always. Thank you guys so much.
Now it's time for a new segment. We're calling this Top on the Trail. We will be highlighting some of the players that stood out at this event. Those of you who have read some of my past articles know my style. My aim is not just to pick the best players or most well-known players. This segment will always feature players who may end up at different levels, come from different programs, and are in different places along their journeys. We want to chronicle established vets, young up-and-comers, and potential sleepers all in one place. Let's start things off with middle school players. Big things come in small packages, and Aubrey Bush might be well on her way in the coming years. Bush is an elite ball handler who can get to the rack and score or dish in traffic. Overall, she makes plays, but she can also run a team. Big things ahead for the FBC Young Guns, Young Hooper. London Carter, 2030, Team Thrill 14. She brings a big-time physical presence as a young guard. She's got the length and big feet that tell you she might grow a little bit more as well. She knows how to use her body to get open and how to shield and finish with that length. I predict a bright future for her out of the DMV. Trinity Finney has a natural flow with the ball in her hands, but also a patience about her. She has some soft touch on her passes, and while the scoring catches your eye, it's the ball pressure that she applies defensively that really drives it home with her. WPA Bruins have a kid on this team you need to see. Speaking of the WPA Bruins, Grace Frederick, not too much younger, with the 2030 squad for the Bruins. Lanky, energetic, skilled, young wing. Definitely one to watch. She's so vocal and active on defense, and offensively, she has a fluid stroke that's effective from three-point range already. She should also grow a little bit more. Chloe Ison, 2029 point guard out of the DMV, will be playing up at the 16 EYBL level with Team Durant this season. We've had Chloe at a couple of Blue Star camps over the years, and I'll tell you, she's an absolute playmaker. Her ball skills and that bag of passes are always on display, and she's very difficult to contain off the dribble. Nadia Pemberton. My sources in the Team Takeover program told me this kid was one to see, and they are always spot on. She's already standing a little bit over 6 feet tall, and she's not shy of physicality in the paint. She powers up through people to finish at a pretty high clip. On the defensive end, she's an active shot blocker from the help side, something you love to see out of players, especially that young. Ari Roll, 2029 out of the West Virginia Thunder 15, girls Under Armour, Coach Riego. She's going to be an absolute player. She's long at 5'7", she's skilled, she's explosive off the bounce, and knows how to play. Mackenzie White, 2029 Always 100 Elite 2028 Adidas squad, is a young post player who is already dominating in the paint, even against older competition. White gets out and moves her feet on D, even at her size, and her moveset on the offensive end required double and triple teams. Last but not least, she plays with that fire and passion you love to see. Next up for Top on the Trail, we'll go to high school players. Maya Epps, 2026 Always 100 Elite 2026 Adidas squad, has the high-end athleticism and scoring ability that has her in ESPN's Top 100. She is capable of making an impact on or off the ball, and she does more than just score. Those hops help her pull down her share of rebounds as a guard, which always helps any squad. Autumn Superfly Fleary kicks off her final season of club basketball with Team Takeover, and what an outstanding career it's already been. The Blue Star 35 is one of the top point guards in the country regardless of class, and if you want to know why I call her Superfly, just watch her play. Janiah Hargrave, 2028 FBC United 16 Under Armour squad, put on a scoring demonstration, getting the rack at will, and knocking down triples left and right. It was not all one-sided either, as she wreaked havoc on the defensive end of the floor. She's a Blue Star 30 product who definitely is already on the radar nationally. Sydney Mobley, 2027, West Virginia Thunder 17, girls Under Armour with Coach Johnson, has always been a power player. She's an absolute locomotive getting to the rim and has great body control. The term grown woman business tends to come to mind when you watch her play. Morgan Reckley out of the ATL, a 2028 prospect with AEBL's 17 Power 24 program. When you talk about elite point guard play for a youngster, Reckley is wrecking the competition. She put up a great season with AEBL last year en route to a Blue Star 30 selection, and now she's poised to keep it going with the 17U division. Jordan Speller, 2027, playing up with the 17U FBC United squad and Coach Mo. Crazy hang time, just a dynamic and fearless lead guard. You can make a highlight reel of her no-look assist in any given event. Speller's another Blue Star 30 vet who has been on the radar for a long time. You'll be hard-pressed to find a player who has improved so much in the past 15 months as Mimi Thero of Slam. She has always had the athleticism to fly around out there on the court, but now she's aggressive and she's trusting her own instincts. Defensively, Thero is hedging and switching ball screens with ease, and she challenges shots at the rim all day. On offense, the improvement of her outside shot from both the 15-foot range and beyond the arc also really stands out. Samaya Wilkins, 2027 out of the West Virginia Thunder 16 girls Under Armour Johnson team, is an imposing post player at 6'3". Since she burst onto the scene a couple years ago as a Blue Star 30, she's developed physically and grown her agility, conditioning, as well as her skill set. Everything she does is beastly, and I predict she's going to have a great season. And this might be everybody's favorite segment on the show. When we talk about top on the trail, we got to go with some sleepers. Janiah Cooper, 2028 from Always 100 Elite 2028 Adidas squad, has the look and maturity of an older player and is a blur off the bounce. I like how she uses her body and physicality to get open, and she also puts those traits to use as a versatile defender. If you haven't seen her yet, make sure you check her out on the Adidas circuit. Vanessa Flood, 2028, is an athletic 6-foot wing for the Team Durant 16 EYBL squad, and she's poised for a breakout season this spring and summer. Flood is long and bouncy to score in the crowd, and she also is able to take it on her own in transition. Shravya Janapati, 2026 for Team Thrill 17 S40 squad, is an absolute sharpshooter. We saw her knock down 3 triples in the span of a few minutes down the stretch of a close game against elite competition, and that's something she's used to doing, playing the WCAC for Paul VI. Jocelyn Kinlaw, 2027 for the Fairfax Stars 16 YBL, 6'1", sleeper at the forward spot, who finished inside with regularity. These easy hops play well in traffic. If you're looking for an athletic kid who can finish and run the floor, this is a kid to take a look at. Michaela Presser-Palmer, 2026, is a stock riser, a little late in the game going into her last club season with WPA Bruins, but better late than never. She's playing a lot of floor for them, but there's plenty of skill set and versatility to also play out on the wing, and she's a nice athlete. Skyla Simmons, 2026, is a 5-foot point guard out of New York City, playing with the New York Grit. She showed the ability to hesitate and even pull back off the bounce and then blow by defenders with some explosiveness. Don't give her too much space though, because she can also make you pay from 3 and in the mid-range. All right, so it's Sunday afternoon, and as you can see behind me, courts are starting to empty out. People are heading for that door marked exit because the event is winding down. But it's been an awesome weekend of basketball here in Pittsburgh. WPA Bruins tip-off once again delivered. Elite programs, great young players, great established players, cross-brand matchups, all the good stuff we love to see out of this event. We saw that and more. It's all to the airport now for me, but we'll see you soon.